Let me ask you something. What if something as simple as a sprout, a cup of tea, or a jar of tomato sauce, something that's already in your kitchen right now, had the power to slow down prostate cancer? Would you pause for a moment, just to listen, but to reconsider everything you thought was ordinary? I'm Dr. James for over 3 decades. I've been treating men not just as patients, but as fathers, grandfathers, veterans, men who helped build this country and now find themselves quietly fighting for their health. Behind every elevated PSA level, I've seen the worry in their eyes. Behind every "we need to run more tests," I've witnessed sleepless nights filled with fear. But I've also seen something else. When men realize they still have choices, just pills or procedures, but control over their daily plate, something shifts. Hope returns, confidence follows, and the body begins to heal. We often forget, health isn't just about lab results. It's how you feel when you wake up. It's being able to toss a ball with your grandchild without running out of breath. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're actively defending yourself, not just waiting passively. Here's one of the least talked about truths. Certain natural foods truly affect the biology of cancer. This isn't about vague feel-good claims. I'm talking about scientifically validated mechanisms reducing inflammation, enhancing immune function, even triggering programmed cancer cell death. And yet, almost no one talks about this. Why? Because there's no profit in prevention. You can't patent a broccoli sprout. Now let me be clear, I'm not telling you to abandon modern medicine, but I am saying this. You can support your body's defense systems starting with what's on your plate. A smart diet won't replace treatment, but it can activate healing from within and give you extra tools in this quiet battle. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through 4 scientifically backed foods that help the body fight prostate cancer from the inside out. These aren't exotic superfoods, they're humble daily heroes, foods that cleanse damaged cells, block tumor growth, and support your immune response. But before we begin, I invite you to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a piece of health advice that might protect your life or someone you love. And if this video resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I'm always listening, so I can serve you better. Now let's get started with the first food on our list, a tiny but powerful one, often overlooked, yet supported by some of the most compelling research we have. A food no man over 60 should ignore. Let me introduce you to one of our first cancer-fighting allies, broccoli sprouts. 1. Broccoli sprouts. The cellular CLA and ECR. So let me ask you, if you could give your body a natural tool to clean itself down to the cellular level without side effects, prescriptions, or complicated routines, would you do it? In my decades as a physician, I've found that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest power. And few foods illustrate this better than broccoli sprouts. They may look delicate, just thin green shoots that resemble garnish more than medicine, but don't let that fool you. Within those fragile strands lies one of nature's most potent biological defenders against cancer. I remember a patient once walking into my office, holding a plastic container filled with green sprouts. "Doctor," he said, "have you ever heard of these?" I smiled, because I had. But what he didn't yet know, and what many men still don't, is just how powerful these tiny sprouts can be, especially when it comes to protecting the prostate. Unlike mature broccoli, which is already incredibly healthy, broccoli sprouts contain up to 100 times more sulforaphane, a sulfur-rich compound that gives cruciferous vegetables their sharp taste and cancer-fighting reputation. But sulforaphane doesn't just make headlines in lab studies. It's been shown to trigger apoptosis, the body's natural system of commanding damaged or precancerous cells to self-destruct before they can multiply. It also reduces inflammation and helps detoxify harmful compounds, critical functions for anyone concerned about prostate health. And this isn't fringe science. One study from Johns Hopkins University found that men with elevated PSA levels who consumed just a few servings of broccoli sprouts weekly significantly lowered their risk of developing prostate tumors. These sprouts didn't just slow things down, they changed the cellular environment. That's real, measurable impact. What I love most about broccoli sprouts is that they're accessible. You don't need a prescription. You don't need a medical degree to understand them. You can find them in your local grocery store or even grow them on your kitchen counter in a glass jar. No fancy equipment, no expensive supplements, just water, seeds, and a bit of patience. Some of my patients add them to smoothies. Others sprinkle them on scrambled eggs, toss them into wraps, or layer them on sandwiches. They taste mild, slightly peppery, a bit nutty, but never overwhelming. In fact, they blend so well into meals that you'll barely notice they're there, but your body will. I started eating them regularly a few years ago, not just because the science convinced me, but because I felt empowered by the idea. Every time I reached into the fridge and grabbed that handful of sprouts, I knew I wasn't just feeding myself, I was fortifying my body's natural defenses. That daily act, simple as it was, became a ritual of self-respect, a quiet way to say, I'm choosing to show up for my health today. That connection between what you eat and how you feel isn't just physical. It's mental, it's emotional. When you know your choices are aligned with healing, when your meals become messages of self-care. It creates a deep sense of confidence. And for many older men, that sense of control over something as personal as prostate health can be a turning point. So if you're watching this and thinking, where do I start? Maybe start here. One handful of broccoli sprouts a few times a week. That's it. No drastic diets, no complicated rules. Just a small, steady habit that could shift your biology and your mindset. And I'd love to know, have you ever tried broccoli sprouts before? Drop a comment below with yes or no, and if you've got a favorite way to use them, share it with the community. Let's support each other, one smart choice at a time. Because as we move forward in this video, you'll see the most powerful medicines don't always come in pill bottles. Sometimes, they grow quietly on your plate waiting for you to rediscover them. 2 Pomegranate, the Prostate Slowed. If you thought broccoli sprouts were powerful, just wait, because the next food on our list doesn't just help clean out your system, it actively guards it from the inside out. And this one isn't green, it's deep red, sweet, tart, and backed by a growing body of compelling science. Have you ever wondered if a simple glass of juice could actually slow the progression of prostate cancer? It might sound far-fetched until you look closer at pomegranate. I still remember visiting a longtime patient in his home. He was in his 70s, battling slow-progressing prostate cancer, yet his spirit was solid. As we sat together in his kitchen, he poured 2 glasses of deep red juice and said with a grin, every morning without fail, "My little ritual, it was pomegranate juice." At the time, I respected his dedication, but I didn't fully understand the biological brilliance behind that glass. Today, after years of research and clinical experience, I can say with confidence he was doing something far more powerful than he realized. Pomegranate has earned its reputation as one of nature's most protective fruits, especially for men. It's packed with polyphenols, particularly ellagic acid and punicologens, potent antioxidants with strong anti-inflammatory properties, but its benefits extend well beyond nutritional labels. In lab studies, pomegranate extract has been shown to slow the growth of prostate cancer cells and even disrupt the signaling pathways tumors use to multiply. But perhaps the most striking evidence comes from a UCLA study, where men with rising PSA levels drank just 8 ounces of pure pomegranate juice daily. The result: the time it took for their PSA to double, a key marker of cancer progression, was significantly prolonged. In some cases, that meant delaying treatment. In others, it bought precious time. And for a few, it changed the entire trajectory of their condition. That this isn't just a fruit, it's a shield, a silent protector that works consistently, day after day, if you make it part of your life. Whether you drink the juice, eat the seeds, or use concentrated extract, pomegranate does more than refresh, fortifies. It gives your body more tools to resist disease at the cellular level. Let me be clear though, not all pomegranate products are created equal. Many commercial juices are diluted or pumped full of sugar, undoing many of the benefits. So what should you look for? Choose 100% pure pomegranate juice, no added sweeteners. If you can, opt for organic. And if you're up for it, press your own juice at home. That's what my patient did. He didn't rely on flashy brands. He took whole fruit, juiced it slowly, and drank it deliberately, like a quiet promise to his own body. I've shared that story with many patients since, and over time I've seen a pattern: improved energy, stabilized markers, and perhaps most importantly, a renewed sense of confidence. Because here's the truth: when you start giving your body what it actually needs, it tells you, not just in your lab results, but in your clarity, your sleep, your emotional steadiness. That's not magic. That's physiology responding to intentional care. So if you're asking, can a fruit really make a difference? My answer is, it already has, for many. The real question is, will you give it the chance to make a difference in your life? I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried pomegranate juice regularly? Drop a comment below with yes or no to know, and if you felt a change, physical or emotional, since adding it into your routine, let others know. Your experience might just inspire someone else to take that first step. We're not done yet. The next food on our list may surprise you. It's commonly found in summer fruit bowls, but its impact on male hormonal health is deeper than you think. Stay with me, we're just getting started. 3. Green tea, the ancient guardian. So far, we've explored how broccoli sprouts help detoxify at the cellular level, and how pomegranate reinforces the body's natural defense like a shield. Together they deliver a powerful 1-2 punch against the progression of prostate disease. But now, I want to introduce you to a third one that doesn't come from your produce drawer. It comes from a teacup. What if I told you that something as ancient as civilization itself could still hold the key to protecting your prostate today? You may have sipped it before, but I promise after this, you'll never look at it the same way again. Let's talk about green tea, the quiet guardian that's been studied in labs around the world for its subtle yet profound impact on human health. I remember when I truly paid attention to green tea for the first time. It wasn't during a clinical trial, but over a personal moment. I had traveled to Japan to attend a medical conference, and after a long day of lectures, a local physician kindly invited me to his home. His father, well into his 80s, greeted us at the door, standing tall, clear-eyed, full of life. We sat together as he poured us freshly brewed green tea with a kind of reverence you rarely see these days. He drinks it every day. The sunset has done so for decades. Back then, I simply thought it was a cultural tradition. Today, I know it's much more than that. It was a daily habit of silent protection. Green tea isn't just a soothing beverage. It's a centuries-old medicinal powerhouse, rich in natural compounds called catechins. Among them, one has captured the attention of cancer researchers more than any other epigallocatechin galatate or EGCG. It's not hype, it's hard science. Numerous clinical studies have shown that EGCG can inhibit the growth of prostate cancer cells, slow tumor spread, and even enhance the effects of conventional therapies. And unlike harsh medications that often come with a list of side effects longer than their benefits, green tea does something remarkable. It calms the mind while strengthening the body. It works at the molecular level, reducing the hormones that fuel prostate tumors, while triggering pathways that instruct abnormal cells to self-destruct. It's like handing your body a quiet message. You've got this. Some of my patients were skeptical at first. Doc, are you seriously saying a cup of tea could make a difference? And I get it. But after a few months, their stories shift. They tell me their digestion improved. Their energy lasted longer through the day. Their lab markers began trending in the right direction. And maybe most importantly, they felt more in control. Because green tea isn't just a drink. It's a ritual, a reminder that healing doesn't have to be aggressive or unpleasant. It can be gentle, consistent, centering, and over time, that consistency builds resilience. If you're ready to explore this for yourself, here's my advice. Go for high-quality organic green tea. Loose leaf is best if you can find it. Brew it fresh, using hot, not boiling water to preserve its beneficial compounds. Drink it slowly. Make it a part of your morning or early afternoon rhythm. And here's a bonus tip. Add a slice of lemon. The vitamin C helps your body absorb the catechins more effectively. There is a quiet power in green tea, a wisdom rooted in thousands of years of traditional medicine. It doesn't shout, doesn't shock. It simply supports you cup after cup, day after day. And I'd love to know, have you made green tea part of your routine yet? Drop a yes or not yet in the comments. And if you've noticed any changes, physical, emotional, or even spiritual, since making it a habit, share your experience. You never know who might be inspired by your story. Next, we're going to explore something even more unexpected, an everyday fruit that most people overlook. Yet it has surprising power to regulate hormones and protect your vitality. You won't want to miss what comes next. 4. Cooked tomatoes, the silent WAROR. By now, we've talked about cleaning your system at the cellular level, reinforcing it with powerful antioxidants, and building a daily ritual of protection. But what if I told you there's a food that goes beyond defense? One that doesn't just support the body but actively disrupts the machinery of disease. And what's more surprising, you may have eaten it last night with your pasta and never realized the quiet power it carries. Let's take a closer look at one of nature's most underestimated healers. Cooked tomatoes are a true silent warrior in the fight for prostate health. I want you to imagine this: a warm bowl of homemade tomato soup or the first bite of slow-simmered marinara over al dente spaghetti. Comforting, right? But what if I told you that inside that comfort lives one of the most potent science anti-cancer agents nature has ever produced? I'm talking about lycopene, the vibrant red pigment in tomatoes that doesn't just color your plate, it empowers your body. Now here's the critical part most people miss. Lycopene becomes significantly more bioavailable when tomatoes are cooked. That simple act of heating unlocks its full potentialist when it comes to protecting the prostate. Years ago, one of my patients, an Italian-American gentleman in his late 60s, casually mentioned that every Sunday, he and his grandkids made homemade tomato sauce together. At the time, I smiled politely, appreciating the family tradition, but I didn't yet realize the science behind what he was doing. Later, I came across a Harvard study showing that men who consumed cooked tomato products 10 times or more per week had a significantly lower risk of developing prostate cancer. I called him and said, "Joe, turns out you were ahead of me all along." What makes lycopene so unique is that it doesn't just neutralize free radicals like a typical antioxidant. It interferes with the communication signals cancer cells use to grow and spread. It protects DNA, reduces PSA levels, and calms inflammation in prostate tissue, all without the harsh side effects of pharmaceuticals. That's why we call it the silent warrior. It doesn't make headlines, it just shows up day after day, meal after meal, protecting your health from the inside out. But here's what you need to know: not all tomato products are created equal. Fresh tomatoes are good, but cooked tomatoes, especially when combined with a healthy fat like extra virgin olive oil, are exponentially better. That pairing allows your body to absorb more lycopene and put it to work. So yes, your Sunday sauce, your roasted cherry tomatoes, even a simple marinara on whole grain pasta, all of these can become therapeutic. Personally, I've made cooked tomatoes a weekly ritual in my home. Every Sunday, I simmer a pot of homemade sauce, store it in the fridge, and use it throughout the week. It's simple, comforting, and surprisingly medicinal for patients who don't cook. I recommend store-bought options. Just choose low sodium, no added sugar varieties with minimal preservatives. Even a few servings a week can begin to make a difference. What I find most powerful is this. Sometimes the things we overlook, the humble foods we take for granted, hold the greatest healing potential. Knowing that a small change like adding cooked tomatoes to your meals could subtly shift the trajectory of your health. That's not just reassuring, that's empowering, because what you put on your plate matters. Your health isn't built in a doctor's office. It's built meal by meal, habit by habit, with quiet choices that accumulate over time. So let me ask you, have you ever intentionally added cooked tomatoes into your weekly routine for health? Drop a yes or not yet in the comments. And if you've got a go-to tomato recipe you love, share it. You might just inspire someone else to start building their own defense, one delicious bite at a time. And as we continue, remember, small changes repeated consistently often become the greatest protectors of all. 5. How to start PODA wine. That we've explored these 4 powerful foods. Let me ask you a simple but important question. What's stopping you from starting today? For many people, the biggest hurdle isn't knowledge, it's implementation. We hear good advice, we nod in agreement, and yet, life takes over. So how do you take this insight and turn it into something real, something sustainable, enjoyable, and truly part of your daily life? That's exactly what I want to walk you through step by step. Let's be honest, knowledge without action changes nothing. I've sat across from countless men who listened intently, felt inspired, and still walked away unchanged. Not because they didn't care, but because change can feel overwhelming. That's why I'm not going to ask you to overhaul your life. I'm going to show you how to build new habits, one small, intentional choice at a time. Picture this. You wake up tomorrow morning and, instead of reaching for that second cup of coffee, you brew a cup of fresh green tea. Add a slice of lemon. Sip it slowly in the stillness of the morning. Maybe you scramble a couple of eggs and sprinkle a handful of broccoli sprouts alongside. That's it. That's your first line of defense for the day, built into breakfast. Later, at lunch, you might toss a few pomegranate arrows over a salad, or simply pour a few ounces of pure juice into a small glass. And at dinner, whole grain pasta draped in a rich simmered tomato sauce. Nothing radical, no strange diets, just real meals with smart additions that your body will recognize and thank you for. And here's the most freeing part. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do everything right every single day, but you do need to be consistent. I've seen men in their 60s and 70s radically shift their prostate health markers, boost their energy, and even change their outlook on life, not through extreme interventions, but through simple consistency. The science is real, but the transformation that happens when you decide to act on it. If you're unsure where to begin, just start with one food, one swap, one habit. Maybe that's keeping a bottle of unsweetened pomegranate juice in the fridge. Maybe it's adding broccoli sprouts to your sandwich. Maybe it's choosing green tea in the afternoon instead of soda or more coffee. Whatever feels easiest, start there. The second step always comes easier once you've taken the first. What's truly remarkable is how quickly momentum builds. As you begin to feel better, clearer, lighter, more energized, you'll naturally want to keep going. It's no longer about fear or discipline. It's about feeling aligned with your health. I've witnessed men completely transform their lives, not with pills or surgeries, but with food, consistency, and belief in their ability to change. And let me tell you, you are never too old, and it is never too late. The body is always listening, and it's always ready to heal if you give it the tools. So I'll ask again, what's stopping you from starting today? Drop a comment below with the one change you're going to make this week. Is it adding a food, replacing a drink, cooking something new? Let's build a community of momentum together. And if you're still wondering whether such a simple step could truly make a difference, what I'll share with you in the final moments of this video might just shift the way you see aging, health, and the strength you've had all along. Stay with me. We're about to bring it all together. If you've stayed with me until now, I want you to take a moment and acknowledge something important. You didn't just watch a video, you took a step toward reclaiming your health, your confidence, and your future. We've talked about 4 science-backed foods. Yes, but more importantly, we've talked about choices. Small, consistent choices that can change the course of your well-being. Broccoli sprouts to clean at the cellular level. Pomegranate to shield and strengthen. Green tea to protect and calm. Cooked tomatoes to quietly but powerfully disrupt disease. These aren't distant ideas or complex treatments. They're simple tools that may already be in your kitchen. And they're powerful not because of hype, but because of what they allow your body to do. Heal. You don't need to do it all at once. You don't need to be perfect. But if you've learned anything here today, let it be this. You're not powerless. You never were. Your food can be your medicine. Your habits can be your healing. And your daily decisions, yes, even the small ones, can shift your path away from fear and toward clarity, strength, and peace of mind. So tomorrow, when you step into your kitchen, remember, healing doesn't begin in the doctor's office. It begins with you, with what's on your plate, with how you treat your body, your time, your future. And if any part of this video resonated with you, whether it gave you hope, clarity, or a simple nudge in the right direction, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts or experience in the comments below. What change are you starting with? What questions are still on your mind? If you haven't yet, I gently invite you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to tap the notification bell, because the more of us who commit to health together, the stronger we all become. You've got this. This is your moment. Choose strength. Choose health. Choose to live on your terms.